Boop. What's up?
What's up, buddy?
I don't know. Just booping a bopping in my head after hearing that music for, was that a minute?
It's about a minute, yeah.
About a minute, yeah.
Yeah, it's about a minute.
Yeah.
So what's going on up there? What's the weather? What's the weather like?
So we're still not quite in spring-like weather. It was like 65 today.
So it's not summer yet.
No, it's not. It's not scalding summer yet either, but it's supposed to warm up a little bit because it's been wet. It's been wet a lot. So my lawn.
I'll be up there next week.
Really? What are you coming up for? Why do
let me see. I just got a call. I have to tell somebody I'm live.
Yeah, you're live, all right. You're live, all the way live.
Let's see.
I hear the birds chirping.
Coming up, I have the stuff on my father.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be up there Tuesday, leaving Saturday morning.
So
can you squeeze me in? Do you think you'll be able to squeeze me in?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it should be good. You're always good for the morning, which is usually real good for me.
Yeah. So there won't be a show next week unless we do it on Monday night.
All right.
Which is possible.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
So, what did you think of? You didn't comment as much as I thought as you would have about the way the White House hung those flags there.
Oh, I made a comment. I put out a post. They're morons.
So
they don't care. They really don't care.
Well,
they have no regard for tradition. This is the most radical administration this country has ever seen, the most disrespectful administration this country has ever seen, the most inadequate administration. It's a clown car. It literally is a clown car. You had the press secretary last week say, well, I was talking, President Obama said that we need to, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I meant President Biden. Like, how do you, the reason she said President Obama is because he's the one calling the shots. So Joe Biden's changing diapers.
For the listeners who aren't completely privy to what we're talking about, White House had a Pride celebration, hung 3 flags, 2 of which were the American flag. One was the Pride flag off the rear balcony of the White House. I forget what you actually call it. And the rules of hanging the American flag are pretty clear. First, if there's going to be more than 2 flags,
or 2 or more,
the American flag should be in the middle, if I remember correctly.
It's to the right if there's 2, and in the middle if there's 3 or more.
Okay. So there you go. And it's supposed to be higher than all other flags.
Always
higher. And in this case, they were all even. And I mentioned this
in the Pride flag, the Pride flag. It's not the Pride flag.
No,
it's the progressive.
Yeah, it's
private. The car wreck, the train wreck flag, as I call it, because that's what it is.
The symbolism is. It's so funny when you hear them discuss that symbolism matters, right? You don't fly the Nazi flag because of what it represents. You don't fly the Union Jack or the Confederate flag because of what it represents. You don't fly this flag. You don't fly that flag. This progressive, whatever it is, Pride flag might as well be a call, like a cat call to some of the kookalooks who have infiltrated and are going after children and sexualizing children. So, for those that don't think this stuff matters and doesn't seep into local politics, something else that the town might appreciate or not appreciate is The four most powerful boards in Winthrop are the Town Council, Board of Health, School Committee, and the Planning Board. Right now, they're all controlled by progressives. The Town Council just recently passed an ordinance, as you all know, that basically says they get to decide what flags fly under their whims on the flagpoles that you paid for. Your flagpoles, you don't get a say.
On public property.
On public property. Just so everybody's straight and clear as to why I raised these alarm bells. They've taken over the four most powerful boards we have in the community. So this is a real thing. It's how they operate. Local politics. All politics is local. I'm off my soapbox.
No, you're right. You're right.
I agree.
And the schools, what they're doing in the schools.
How do you go from, right, here's another thing to think about. How do you go from just, when I was on the school committee, which wasn't that long ago, we had Latin, albeit kind of a joke of a program, but at least it was there. And we had Spanish from elementary right through high school. Now we have Spanish that takes a vacation in high school, but we certainly have an allies board that lets us know all of the different genders that are available to choose from in the spectrum of the non-binary world.
And that's the superintendent's fault.
It's yes.
It's the superintendent's fault. It all lies on the superintendent.
Everybody, take it down. Tell the DESE to go pound sand. And
superintendent is afraid. She's just afraid. I know you know her. She's a good friend of yours or whatever. She's a friend or an acquaintance.
She knows my feelings.
She's afraid, and she can try to say all she wants. She has her defenders, but it all starts at the top. It all starts at the top. If they don't respect, unless she's on board with it, unless she's all in on it, and she's like, yeah, go ahead, I'll take the heat. Just like that disgrace of a principal in the middle school. Coward. He's a coward. Or he's all on board with it. And that's what we were talking about. And then you got the elementary school, with the book. Yeah.
That reminds me. The principal of that school has retired. Mrs. Pearson is done at the end of the school year. So we wish her well. Thank her for her, I think, 17 years of service or more, actually, 20-something years of service, I think. 27.
Okay.
Good luck. Yeah. She was, she'll say this herself. There are going to be some people that are a lot of people that are sad and some people that aren't so sad.
Right.
They're all a little scratchy. The big issue is the loop traffic, because all that, the way it flows now is basically her creation.
Right.
We'll see.
Let's see what replaces her.
That's right.
Yep. See who gets that, and that could be a really bad thing, or it could be a good thing. 50-50. It's a bad thing.
Trash fees.
Trash in Winthrop. The whole shitstorm of trash problems and controversies, and so you have people going on social media, going at each other about trash fees, and people saying, "Oh, well, why am I paying for this, and you're only paying for this," and and what they're doing is they're forgetting the big picture of this was put on them. Don't fight with each other. Don't point fingers at each other. That's what they want you to do. That's what the Winthrop Town Council wants you to do. They want you to go at each other and forget about the fact that they passed this, right? They did pass this ordinance.
July 1st, all the final pieces of it are in play.
And I see people saying, oh, why am I paying this and why am I paying that? And then you have the argument about single-use bags. Now, you have to buy trash bags from the town. You have to buy trash bags from the town. Okay? If that is not the most insane thing, and this has been a plan of Jim Lettieri's evidently for a while now. That money is going to go to pay for the trash, and the money that you're paying out of your taxes is going to go somewhere else. That is the master plan, from what I understand.
They'll argue that we're one of the few municipalities in the state that doesn't or hasn't been doing this, which to me,
So keep not doing it.
yeah, there's prisons full of people who've made bad decisions, and there's municipalities full of people who should be in prison for making bad decisions, some of who used to work on the T. Oops.
Yeah. So they've been doing without it. Now they say, oh, we can make a revenue off it. Meanwhile, what is it? Is it 168? What's the trash fee?
160 a year.
160 a year. And now that's not enough, right? Now you have to buy trash bags. Instead of just buying your own trash bags, you can get them whatever size they are. You can get them. You can get pink trash bags on Amazon, any size. But no, you have to buy them from the town as your overflow. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to put them in a bin with a lid provided by the homeowner, which, okay, this is principle now. You mean to tell me if I have one or two overflow bags that I keep in my house or I'm going to drag out when the trash guys come, I can't do that? I have to put them in a bin. They're not going to take them. Like, really? You're going to follow them around all day? Because I got $50 that says they take everything I give them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that is going to happen. And they, so I'll let you in on a little something. Wendy and I had it out about this because, I'm not letting the trash fee go up. She tried to play the idiotic semantics argument with me. The trash fee didn't go up, but now if I have overflow, I got to pay for bags, which I'm going to have overflow. You discourage recycling with that nonsense, really, because you did because we only have one recycling bin. So you're only allowed one recycling bin. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, we're not raising the trash fee. We're going to create another fee, though.
Yeah,
related to trash.
Insult my.
But we're not raising the trash fee, and technically, she can stand her ground and say, "I'm correct in saying we didn't raise the trash fee. I told you we wouldn't raise the trash fee." And we love Wendy. Then we're not going after her. She's
I might be.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean we don't like her.
Right. Fair.
We can argue. She's been, watching the show from the beginning. Doesn't mean we don't like her. There's certain people that we can, like Jim Lettieri. I like Jim, and I think Jim likes me. Doesn't mean I'm gonna be nice to him if I think he does something wrong. Which, from what I hear, this was part of his master plan for a long time. Find another way to create revenue. And take that trash fee money, and it's going to be going somewhere else. Because eventually this bag money will equal the trash fee. Because so if you think about it, 5 bags for $15, right? 5 bags, $15. That would probably be on average, $30 a month, right? If you have a lot of trash.
Well, if you have a lot of trash, yeah.
Yeah. So say $30, say every month and a half, $30. Right? Because you're going to go through 5 bags. If you need overflow bags, then evidently you need them.
Well, also it depends on how big the bags are.
Right.
So there is that.
So say an average size, and there's 5 of them. So you use 2 this week, 1 next week, and 1 the week after. That's a month. Right? Or 3 weeks. And you got 1 left. Right? 4 weeks, you have 1 left.
Burn my trash. Light it. Shred it.
People are going to be spending, they're going to be spending over $160 a year just on overflow trash bags. I guarantee you. If there's 16,000 people, say, so how many houses are in Winthrop?
It's half that.
8,000. We'll say 8,000. Say 5,000 houses, 6,000.
I think so.
6,000 units. If 3,000 of them need overflow trash bags, right? Well, you can do the math and say it's going to be more than $160 a month in the end.
let's just prove how ridiculous the whole thing is in the first place, okay? Single-use bags are banned in Winthrop, but I can buy your single-use bags for $5 for my overuse trash because I'm not getting that bag back. It's a single-use bag. So the single-use bags were banned, and those were for the stores, right? So a lot of the shop owners, the retailers in Winthrop would like to have those single-use bags back because they're cheap.
Yeah.
Paper bags are expensive, and these small businesses are struggling as it is. So, these bags get used over and over again. There's no such thing as a single-use bag when it comes to those little Liberty/shopping type bags. Those things are used for dog poop, wet laundry when you go to the beach. They get used. They get a bunch of uses before they actually end up in the trash. So this whole thing, it's nonsensical.
So people have some people have a disdain for gated communities, right? Right.
Oh.
So, I would never live in a gated community. I would. You know what they don't have in gated communities? Trash fees. Right. You know what we have in gated communities down here? You have 2 free bulk pickups a year, right? According to this one. Every Thursday. I could put out 10 TVs. Every Thursday, they pick them up. Right? No questions asked. No, they overflow, you got a bag on the side, they'll take it. I'm just saying, Winthrop is almost worse than a gated community. The fees that you have to pay are just like paying an association fee. Paying an association fee.
I'm gonna be fair a little bit. Where we don't really have any place to put it. Like we have no place to haul it. We're having that problem. But there's a part of me that also says, I'm sure we could incinerate a lot more of our trash, but the environmental nuts are probably putting the kibosh on that too, for fear of releasing too much carbon into the atmosphere. But we should be incinerating a lot of our trash. We just should. For anybody that
I agree.
For anybody that like stresses about this whole carbon issue, just ask yourselves one question. If everything is actually carbon, because you and I are carbon, right? We're all carbon. I know it's CO2 and I guess there's a bit of a difference there, but still, it all comes from Earth. And yes, we should be a bit cleaner, but at the end of the day, we're afraid of something that's actually making the Earth the greenest it's ever been. And that is a fact. There's no one on either side of the climate argument arguing that the planet is not greener than it's ever been. That means it has more vegetation than it's ever had.
Well, they don't want to believe. These are the same people that push electric cars, thinking that's in the wind turbines and all that are actually horrible for the environment.
Well, if you're someone who believes that climate change, that you can actually attribute regional weather discrepancies to climate change with absolute certainty, like the level of variables in that science are astronomical. Like just a couple things off the top of our head. Okay, if you're trying to track if it's an anomaly that, I don't know, let's just make something up, a hurricane in Massachusetts of a certain or an earthquake, right? In Massachusetts of a certain magnitude. Well, who knows what was going on at that time? Is that climate change? Right? What was going on with the plates under the ground at that time? Or let's take it to a hurricane or a tornado. Was there an unusually low pressure system? Was it unusually humid at that time of the year when it usually isn't? The variable levels are in the hundreds of thousands. You can't possibly track it. That's why they try to use so many different models, and the models are always way off.
So the Earth is just losing too many trees, but farming is producing way more positive benefits. Not if Bill Gates has anything to do with it. These people, these near meat, whatever it's called. What's the fake meat called?
Almost meat.
Almost, yeah. The almost chicken, meat. Almost burger, almost meat. Yeah.
Not really meat.
This is what they want you to eat. This is the future. Not our future. We'll be dead. But by the time we're ready to die, you're going to start seeing a lot more of this shit being pushed. Same way they pushed margarine on people. They said butter was bad.
Yo, remember, it didn't melt. How could you eat something that didn't melt on a hot pan?
Ants won't go after. Ants will not go
Right.
near margarine. Margarine, as they say, is one chemical short of plastic. But they pushed it. They pushed it. Oh, sugar's bad for you, so we're going to give you saccharin. Oh, well, saccharin ended up being cancer causing. And then we're going to now there's another one of these substitutes that's alters your DNA. That just came out. My wife does all that research, so that's a fact.
Do you remember the food pyramid from when we were kids?
Yeah.
So here's the bottom line real quick, not to get federal, but federal matters in this particular debate because you want to talk about conspiracies and lies. Why all of a sudden do we not talk about the carb fest that was the food pyramid that we saw you and I as kids in between our favorite cartoons? Get your breads and cereals. Cereal? Great. I can have more cereal. Go right back and get more cereal. And I mean, we have an obesity problem in America, and that there's a strong argument made. And did you know the Food and Drug Administration pushed that whole campaign?
Of course they did. They only sponsor whoever pays them. They back whoever pays them.
We had a legitimate problem at the time, which was food. And of course, as you know, grains are cheap and voluminous, not nutritious, but they can feed a lot of people. So they push this. So if you don't think the government has lied to you about other things like the pandemic, not that it wasn't real, but that they use it to their advantage, you really need to wake up.
Yeah. Anyway, so now you have, there's a couple of things actually. What's the latest on Bill Schmidt? Have we had any updates on Bill the Shill Schmidt, the head of the Board of Health, the narcissistic, misogynistic egomaniac?
No action, no further action has been taken
that we know of, that he's not trying to do.
Well,
and his boy, John Munson, who backs him 100%, who's running for re-election in November. I heard he got a little dousing the other day at the other night at the town council meeting.
Oh,
see, John Munson had plans. John Munson, by the way, vote for Kurt Millar, town councilor. Precinct 2 town councilor, Kurt Millar. He's reasonable. Whereas John Munson, John Munson forever had this idea of and you talked about it too, about this put a boutique hotel right there at the middle school spot, boutique. For whatever reason, he had this in his head. And I said to you too, it's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. If you don't think it through, it's going to be a horrible idea. But Jim Lettieri evidently came up with something at the town council meeting last week in regard to that spot where he mentioned he'd like to see maybe 3 double-deckers or whatever you want to call them, right?
Finish off Waldemar with 3 residential units.
3 residential units, 2 units in each building. So you have 6 units total. Green space behind that, and then a field house. From what I understand, John Munson's face just kind of dropped because, he was, that dude, don't trust John Munson. If you're in precinct 2, trust me. The guy hasn't done anything for you. Anything that he's not supposed to do as a town councilor, and he's done things that you don't know that he did. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what I've heard. But yeah, Kurt Millar, precinct 2, and precinct 2 is what area?
That's where I live. So it's some of the Maze, and then it goes down Pleasant to Maine, and then it cuts over to McGee's Corner. I think it ends right. I actually think it ends right at McGee's Corner and goes up Winthrop Street again.
Right. Speaking of Kurt Millar, on a good note, as of July 1st, MBTA is taking over the ferry.
Yes.
Wow.
Less for us to pay directly out of our pockets, more for us to get pilfered through our tax money, one way or the other. The MBTA, the most corrupt organization in the state of Massachusetts.
And who on the town council used to work for them?
Yeah, that would be Joe Aiello.
Joe Aiello.
He wouldn't just work for them. He was like up there in a big boy position, because he's the smartest man in every room.
Yeah. No. That's Bill Schmidt. That's Bill the Shill Schmidt.
Sorry, I got that wrong.
He's the smartest guy in every room. Just ask him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Still needs to be released. And the town council still won't address that, will they?
I don't think so.
It's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. The town council is a disgrace for not addressing that issue. And I'll bring it up every week. I don't care if you've heard it already and you don't like it, turn it off. I don't care, but I'm going to say it. This guy went after a private citizen. Bill the Shill Schmidt went after a private citizen. Understand this, people. A guy that had he wasn't bothering anybody. He had chickens in his front yard. There was a very well-kept coop. We all know the story.
Still there.
And Bill the Shill Schmidt went after him with a vengeance. He lost, but the fact that he did it in the town council, that disgrace, that buddy system, the good old boys club that I guess Tracy Honen's part of the good old boys club now. Tracy Honen, by the way, doesn't have an American flag flying in front of her house, but she has other flags flying in front of her house. Tomorrow's Flag Day, isn't it?
Is it? It's June. Is it Flag Day?
I think it's Flag Day tomorrow. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Yeah. Will she fly an American flag instead of a Ukraine flag, I wonder?
I would hope so.
She's a disgrace anyways. But yeah, the town council let this happen. They let it happen. Jim Lettieri's not taking action. No one's putting it to a vote to get rid of this guy. They're just covering up for it. And the town manager is involved also. Tony Marino, not a good way to start, buddy. Not a good way to start.
Overreach. You got to do something about
an abuse of power.
An abuse of, you have to, as little as it might seem to you. It's not. You let it. Hey, listen, I saw a meme on Instagram. It was kind of funny, but what did it say? It started with one party shutting down conversation or something like that, and canceling everybody, referencing our friend. Well, not friend, but you know who I'm talking about. Back in Germany.
Yeah.
Many moons ago. It's how these, I mean, look, you actually going back to this whole single use policy. I think the businesses have an argument to go back against the town and say, hey, you're discriminating against us. These bags are bags. When I bought these bags, they didn't say single use. They're called shopping bags. And there's every plastic bag. Now you want me to have my trash removed. I have to buy your single use bags, but I can't use single use bags. Think about that. The government can use single use bags, but you shop owners who pay the taxes to the government under this progressive town council, you don't get to. You have to buy the expensive paper bags.
We see something.
Do something about it, Jimmy. You got to do something about this.
Let's see. Single-use plastics are most commonly used for packaging and serviceware, such as bottles, wrappers, straws, and bags. Right? So I don't understand what a single-use bag is. Now, a single-use bag to me is a bag that picks up dog poop. You're not using that afterwards.
Like a bag specifically made to pick up dog poop. Well,
fecal matter or whatever.
And everything's a single-use bag. Everything is. So, right? It's one or the other. You can't suggest that. I think when they mean reusable bags, they mean cloth bags that you take with you. But the fact of the matter is, you have to buy. The reason we can't have the single-use bags in the stores is because they're plastic. But we can have plastic bags to throw our trash away that we get to pay for.
Those are single use.
Single use. Like,
you're not dumping the trash out of your trash bag into the trash can and then reusing the trash bag.
It's the complete lack of logic that drives me insane with the way
it's bad branding. It's bad branding.
It's just dumb. It's dumb.
Bad branding, like calling Joe Biden the president. Bad branding. It's not what it is. It's not what it is.
Officially the worst president ever, as far as I'm concerned now, with that whole flag debacle. Like hanging that American flag, those American flags, they don't care. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. They laugh. They're in their own little private Idaho. They laugh. So the bus route's changing.
Yeah. Do you know
Yeah.
which one? Do you know which one?
Well, they're going to be sending it down. What's that?
Waldemar.
Waldemar.
Do you know where it goes now?
It goes. They were saying, where does it go right now? I do know.
Herman Street.
Herman Street, right? So Herman Street's not a big street, right? But how long has it been going down Herman Street?
It's been a long time.
So if it ain't broke,
I don't know the numbers on mirrors taken out, cars being hit, or any of that. I don't know if it happens. I will just say this. For me, take everything else out of it. There are going to be people who walk from like the other side of Atlantic Ave down on the, this near the St. John's Church, that side way to get to Waldemar to take the bus. I don't even want buses in Winthrop anymore. How do you like that? You want to change the fabric of the community? Like you mentioned, and maybe someone else will come up with a niche idea. Get these buses out of here. Get these bus stops out of here. And these Uber Lyft ideas that you mentioned where people can, pre-build a carpool situation to get them places in the morning, to get them to the Heights even.
Yeah, I think it's Lyft. Yep, I think it's Lyft, and I think it's it's one fee for 5 people, and it's a flat rate. So the 5 of you would split up that one flat rate, and it would probably be just as much as taking a bus. And you could either all meet at a corner every morning, and the thing will be there like a bus, take you right to the Heights, doesn't stop at other stops, There's municipalities that use those things.
And we could even invest our local welfare or our local aid programs to help people who can't make we can help subsidize some of the fees.
So you have a kind of a split on people that are happy that it's being moved and not happy that it's being moved. And of course, the people that are happy that it's being moved are the people that don't have to walk from around Waldemar up to Herman go to the bus stop, right?
That's true. Yep.
And I actually saw somebody that said that. Somebody made a comment and had said, well, at least I don't have to. Now they know what it would feel like to walk in the snow to the bus stop, blah, blah, blah. And I won't. Now I can just walk 30 yards to the bus stop, You have that. And then you have the people that are out of their minds over the safety issue of, all the kids that are down there at the park, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's kids around, then you have to be attentive to that. And there's a lot of kids down there, evidently. You got the skateboard park, you got the the whatever else is going on down there, right? A lot of kids. So this is just what I'm picking up as far as people that are opposed to the change of the route. In the end, I believe it was probably designed by the MBTA, since they're the ones that are running this bus system now, right?
Yeah.
And it's probably what's the most fiscally sound and most profitable route that we can put together without really digging into Winthrop. Maybe they did. Maybe they did a whole study on it and said, we'll use less gas, less emissions, but we'll maximize our profit. So this is the bus route we want to do.
They will win. Here's at least a win-win. There are mirrors that get taken out. So they were thrilled. My understanding is they were thrilled to hear about this because it's wider. It's better for them from an insurance and liability perspective. Yeah. So you're right. They generate more revenue that they can skim.
Yeah. Or less that they have to pay out.
However they do it. Well, they're putting it in their pockets.
For insurance reasons,
Mm-hmm. They're putting it in their pockets.
Yeah. So that starts July 3rd?
Is it that soon?
I think it's happening soon. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's happening that soon. And then on July 11th, I guess it's an auction for the Bank of America / Sons of Italy lot. And that, my friends, is going to be interesting. That's a big chunk of land.
Local boys are going to be on this action. If we have any local players in the game.
I don't. This is a big money.
That's a big lot.
That's a big lot.
2 big buildings.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend, I love him like a brother. I won't say his name, but he's developed more than a few houses in Winthrop, and we go around and around about it. But, you know, he's a businessman, and that's what they do. That's what developers do. They get in the business to make money, just like anybody gets into the business. Unfortunately, the way they make money can affect a lot of people also, you know, and it can affect a whole town. But that's neither here nor there. That lot right there is going to be Somerset Ave Part 2, because they are now allowed to put a structure that big. Once Somerset Ave went up, that set the standard right there.
Yeah, everything down the center can go that high. It's a precedent. It's a commercial zone. It's coming. It's not ending.
There could be 15 units right there. Could be, how many are in Somerset?
There's got to be 15 or 18, 15, 18, something like that.
This isn't, this is just as big. That's
a lot.
Yeah, that lot's big, right?
Bigger. If you take out the Bank of America and the Sons of Italy, the whole parking lot that goes behind there too.
Yeah, and there's an area behind it, behind the bank and behind the Sons of Italy, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
there steps there. Are there steps there or something?
There's a cut through, if that's what you're talking about.
Cut through. Yeah, that's what it was. The cut through. Yeah.
That's another thing that's coming up, by the way. Public steps discussions. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a second, but I was just thinking the people that live there, what's that street right there? How can I forget the name of it? Bartlett. Is it Bartlett, right?
Yep.
Bartlett, yeah. They are not going to be happy.
No, they're going to see increased traffic.
They are not going to be happy.
They're going to see increased volume.
Not just increased traffic, increased noise. That neighborhood is going to be it's going to be insane.
Upside down.
Let's see. I think we missed a comment here. Let me see what this say. Here in Cali, they use small buses to improve on cost. See, that could be done too. You know, that could be done too. Smaller buses, right?
I just don't know Cali is the place to point to for anything that's worthwhile.
They got to do some things. No, I mean, like that. I mean, that actually makes sense. But overall, yeah. On a scale of if we're looking at 100%, that's like 0.0001% of California.
Over here in Cali, 95% of the population walks around with its head up its ass.
Although a friend of mine lives in Sacramento. Now, Sacramento up there it's kind of a different world, man. It's two totally different states. I lived in both for years in both.
They say that the Silicon Valley is a whole different world too. Yeah, it is. But it's right outside of San Francisco. And it's just as crazy, just in a different way.
A friend lives in Sacramento. Is up in the mountains. There's a lot of people up there, and they're all pretty much not what you think California is. But what they say, Cottage Park also. Cottage Park, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a mess. So that goes up for sale. The bids are due. On July 11th. So hang on.
Hang on to your hats. Well,
it's definitely changing. It's going to be residential.
And you know how fast these things go up, right? Like you were down Revere recently, behind, the street that's off the beach.
Mess.
Those condos go up like that.
That place is so hideously ugly. It had a potential like no other, but they built the gulag, I call it.
Or what, the cement one?
Big brick one. There was a fire there like
that's
last
Chernobyl.
Summer.
I call that place Chernobyl.
The gulag, whatever. It does look like it should be right in like the suburbs of Moscow.
Oh yeah.
Horrible. They won't. I mean, you can't do. There's nothing they can do to fix that. You can't paint it. You can't
take it down.
Oh,
the only way to
huge structure though. That thing is huge.
Yeah, that's a costly project.
That will never come down. That thing it's in projects is what it's going to end up being.
Well, what it was for a while anyway. It had all
Was
the
it?
Section 8 house, yeah, because they couldn't sell them because they're hideous. They are hideous.
And from what I understand, like the bars and restaurants, they're like a drink is like $18 for a drink.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
All you do,
Crazy.
you just walk off the beach and into these yuppified, latte sipping places, and you pay through the nose. And then you go out the beach and you can get shot. Because just the other day there was shootings on Revere Beach.
Yeah.
So good luck to you.
I'm so glad I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So glad. We got the tail end of everything was good. Gen X kind of got screwed. Yeah, I'm starting to see a lot of kind of get off the subject. Someone said they were just back in Winthrop for the first time in 20 years, and Revere Beach was crazy. Yeah, it's not the Revere Beach we knew. But Gen Xers, so they caught the tail end, the very tail end of everything that we grew up having, right?
Yes,
the great childhood that we had. So you're a Gen Xer, right?
I am. I just caught the end. There was some.
You caught the very tip of the tail end of everything that was good.
I'll give you the best.
And so how old are you right now?
I'm 54.
So you're 54. So your first 20 years were good. Your first 20, maybe 20, where you still had things a little bit. They started to fade though, right? Started to change, right?
They got rid of the rec center when I was 5. When I was like 7 or 8, we lost the rec center. So Saturday basketball was over. Public skating got shut down for a little while. They went away from full uniforms at Little League when I got there. Everything I got to was the point where it was changed from where you guys were.
Yeah.
My brother goes to UMass Amherst, okay? He lives in the dormitory towers. The lounges, there's 3 lounges in each of those tower buildings. Each lounge was a nightclub when he was there.
Yeah.
When I go there, it's dead empty, wasted space. You're right. We missed everything.
You caught the tail end of it when you were little. When you were little, so those little things happen, but as a culture, you were still getting to see good movies. You were getting to see, you were still out there riding your bikes and building fucking ramps, right?
Yeah.
Or doing whatever you did, what we did. We got to do it our entire childhood, right?
I just got a little of it.
And you guys caught it, but then Gen X's, I see all these videos now, and it's Gen X's, and it's like doing the shit that we did, me and your brothers did, right?
Hey,
and
boomer.
my brothers, right? And I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, wait. The boomers laid the foundation of all this. But I give them credit. I give Gen Xers a little credit. I'm starting to appreciate, because they're starting to appreciate. Gen X is starting to appreciate what they had and what they don't have now. Okay? Oh, this is the comment of the year right here. This is the comment of the year. A truer comment has never been put on Winthrop Votes other than Bill the Shill is a horrible person. Bill Schmidt is a horrible person, and John Munson shouldn't get reelected. But the other truer words that have ever been written, the loss of the combat zone was the start of it, and that is exactly.
Come on, that saved off the AIDS epidemic in Boston.
That is no, it didn't. No, it didn't. That combat zone was still rolling, buddy. That's the end of everything that was good in Boston and everything. Like the combat zone was. Listen, me and my friends, we had a lot of crazy times. I was going in there when I was 12. Me, Guy Scarpa, Dougie Cali, Thomas Strangelo, going in the combat zone at 12, 13 years old. It was insane, right? We had that childhood. We had that, access to everything. But that's a great comment. The loss of the combat zone was the start of it. It was. They took that down in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But, Gen Xers kind of, at least they appreciate what they had and they know what they lost.
Strange digression, but something just hit me. Very strange digression, but I'm going to ask you. Very strange digression, actually. I think it's because I said AIDS.
Okay.
Do you remember how terrible it all was back then when we first heard about this whole AIDS business? And
I do.
There's some pretty shitty things happening to the gay community.
Yes, absolutely.
Very, very
yes.
shitty things happening. But one of the things, so now fast forward. I just want to plant that seed in your head. Today I see ads for what is it called? I prep without taking a shot. You know, they prepping before sex so you don't transmit AIDS. Have you heard of this?
Jesus, no.
So they sell a drug now you can
Okay.
take
Okay.
that you can it keeps your symptoms down, I guess, so you're not transmitting.
Keeps them at bay. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. The people they're using for advertising, I'm getting a long way to get to this, but the people they're using for advertising are gay men.
Okay.
Well, but what is that telling you about who's the most susceptible to the disease?
Gay
then?
men.
So was it wrong? So does someone owe people an apology from the way back when they were calling it the disease of the gay people and everyone got themselves up in arms? Is there an apology owed?
Well, I maybe I think there was a lot of ignorance back then. A lot of people didn't know what was going on. A lot of, remember now, our news sources back then were 3 networks.
Yep.
ABC, CBS, NBC. And they could only cover it for an X amount of time because they had other news to cover, right? So general public could get media, information through newspaper, radio, TV. But I think everything was so new back then. Then when they realized it was real, then the heterosexual community were up in arms and gay people were a pariah. And this is just from my experience growing up, watching it happen.
Yeah.
And being, full disclosure, being a young male, of course, it caused me to have a bias.
Sure.
And that's unfortunate, but that changed when my friend's brother he was gay. He went to Winthrop High School. And I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to go in a kind of another direction about Winthrop in the 70s and 80s and how progress was made. How they're always saying, "Oh, progress. We can't make progress." I have the perfect example, and there's people in Winthrop that know this, and I'm going to use somebody's name, and then I'll tell you why I use their name afterwards. So the apologies, yeah, probably for the ignorance that was being thrown around at gay men. And they were living a very, very hard life. But they fought their way out of it. I call them the OGs, the older gay people. They fought. No, it's true. I have like 8 or 9 friends that are gay. And that's what I call them. They're the OGs. And our buddy is one of them, right?
Yep.
So apologies, possibly. I think people in general, they should take a look at themselves and probably say they can at least admit they were wrong. They don't have to go making reparations, But this whole thing about progress and all these crazy liberals up in arms in Winthrop about, progress, we need to make progress. They evidently don't have any idea of the progress that's been made over the last 40 years. And I can speak in Winthrop. Just in Winthrop, since this is Winthrop Votes. So a friend of mine, his brother was gay. His name was Stephen Racca, right? And this guy, and his brother, Paul was my best friend, and his brother Jimmy, Paul's younger brother Jimmy, was the youngest of 3 boys. Stephen was the oldest. My best friend. We were inseparable, the 3 of us, for years. So I got to know Stephen on that level. And he was a gentle soul. But he was a tortured soul. And he paid the price. He wanted to be what he wanted to be. And he paid the price. He would get ridiculed, bashed. He went to school one day with a tank top on. They sent him home. The principal sent him home, for saying that's not appropriate. He eventually, and I know a story. I heard a story of some Winthrop people that saw him in Boston. It was Winthrop guys saw him in Boston some years later, and one of them punched him in the face. Right? So that was Winthrop in the 70s and 80s. And I saw this firsthand. Stephen Racker, unfortunately, went on to, he passed away from AIDS. And I don't know what he ended up. I lost touch. You know, I moved on in my life, and then I had heard that he passed away. But I'm sure he didn't have a wonderful life, because he would cross-dress, you know, and of course he'd have to hide in the shadows, and he lived his life in town in Boston, but he always had to come back to Winthrop. So now I'm going to get to the point. So all you people out there, the 7 that care about this, that will watch this, that care about this, that complain that there's been the struggle is real. The struggle is real. You know what? Kids today that grow up gay in Winthrop, they don't have that problem. They don't have to hide in the shadows. You know, that's their choice, but they don't have to. They have support. There has been progress made. Progress in leaps and bounds for these kids today. Right? If Stephen Racker was alive, if he was a kid today, he'd have more support just on this cell phone than he ever had growing up in the 70s and 80s in Winthrop.
For sure, that's a fact.
So these people that say, "Oh, they're a what's the term they use for
marginalized,
marginalized, and they're in danger." You know, the what's her name, Lenora Foley's of Winthrop that say, "Oh, they're targeted, and they're this and they're that," and this. You know what? They're not really, but it's never going to be 100%. It's never going to be 100%. You're always going to have haters. You got people that hate Christians. Christians will never be loved 100%. Jews will never be loved 100%. Blacks will never be loved 100%. But they like to use that as in these. And I can only speak for Winthrop, for these victims, they're perpetual victims, right? And they like to create victimization, right? Now, I'm sure there's a kid or two that struggles, but in Winthrop back in the day, they all struggled, all of them, because you find out later who was in the closet, and I don't care if they don't like that term or not, but that's the fact. You find out, and they're like, oh, no way. I would never tell anybody back then. So if these people, the Lenora Foleys and probably the Tracy Honens and, you know, and the Joe Aiellos and all those that think, oh, we need to help the gay community. The gay community has never been better until recently.
Interestingly, you say that, by the way. Just a quick thing before I forget the factoid. The suicide rate among transgenders, the rate of its growth is analogous, similar, the same as the increase in reported transgenders going through gender affirming care. So basically, you're creating suicide by indoctrinating young children into transgenderism, into thinking they're transgender.
Which is a whole nother conversation, right?
Off the top. Yep.
Yeah. But I'm saying the struggle today that they say is so bad, it might not be good. It might not be great, right? That how the progress, but it's way better than it was when Stephen Racker was growing up. God rest his soul. That, you know, listen, that's a torture. I know. I used to talk to him. Me, Jim McDonald, Phil Kelly. We'd go over there. We hang out, and we'd have conversations with him, and he was real with us, and he would tell us all these things, man. Like, you get it firsthand from a kid that couldn't walk down the street in the daytime in Winthrop without someone yelling the F word at him or the Q word. right? Or chasing them. That shit happened in Winthrop. It doesn't happen today. No, because you know why? Because kids today are more aware of it. They're more educated. You know why? Because of progress. Because of progress. And I know I'm preaching a little bit here, but I'm passionate about this. The pride flag is the pride flag came so far. It came so far to finally get recognized. Even by people that don't like it. They recognized it, right? They knew what it was. Now this abomination of narcissists that say, I want a color too. I want a color too. And then they start making trouble about it. And they start raising hell about it, right? 10 steps forward, 7 steps back.
Right? Isn't
7 steps back.
There's a huge segment of the LGB and T community that is like, hey, you're setting us backwards here. We're being
and
made.
This generation does not care.
Like creeps because you guys are going after kids. Yeah.
And you get people like I said, and I know that they do the people in Winthrop that love to make them victims. And then there's the part of the community that likes to be a victim. That's not the case for our friend. He's the furthest thing from a victim, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, enough of that. I had my soapbox now.
You feel good?
I do. So
that's why we're here.
As a whole, Winthrop historically has been 1, 2, and 3 family homes, right?
Right.
Through the years. How that is changing, like drastically.
Yeah, we're like a mini Davis Square almost, and just not complete.
Yeah.
You know, with I mean, just throw a T station where the Honda repair shop is, and you got Davis Square.
Look, Winthrop is about to get choked out, literally choked out. Once Suffolk Downs is done, what did we say? There's 10,000 units going in there at least, right? So Suffolk Downs is going to be almost, Todd and I did some numbers beforehand. It's going to be almost as big as Winthrop population-wise. That's just that one general, very compressed area. It's going to have a boatload of people in there. And then Orient Heights is still where the coffin company was, right next to Orient Heights Station. They want to put units there. They want to put a whole bunch of units there. Winthrop's going to get choked out.
It's not done developing. They're going to go. They went up above the Mexican restaurant there, Angela's. When you come over the bridge going at East Boston, they went up. Now that looks like it's going to be commercial, but still, people are going to rent office space. They're going to drive here.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, Winthrop. I don't know. You know, and they're not going to stop the developers from developing the church down the point.
Nope.
And this big property in Winthrop at the Winthrop Savings Bank, right? Was it Bank of America now?
Yep.
Right?
That's a big spot there, those two.
Sons of Italy, there was a lot of good parties at the Sons of Italy. A lot of good parties. Your brothers could attest to that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Brother Jimmy more so, too, because...
Yeah, there was more back then. There was more back then when you were still watching Dukes of Hazzard. On Friday
night lineup, the Incredible Hulk and the Dukes of Hazzard, and then Fantasy Island. Come on. I couldn't wait for Friday night.
I used to watch, when I was your age, I was home on Friday nights watching Night Stalker with my mom.
Yeah. My mother liked that one.
Oh, that was a great show. I watched them all. I watched them all again. And Darren McGavin made the greatest faces. Like, he was so funny in that show. The plot lines got worse as the seasons went on. They got real campy and, but yeah, that's what I was watching back in the day. Watching that stuff. But
we corrupted yourself.
So I like Jim Lettieri's idea of the 3, housing units at the top of Pauline and what is that? Waldemar. and green space behind it, and then a field house. Now, field house is going to be interesting.
Well, they want to put more ice, so there's still opportunity for additional sheets of ice.
Right.
Because everybody's sold on the idea. Take the boutique hotel out of the equation. Everybody's sold on the idea that those rinks will get usage. They will be busy pretty much year round with hockey tournaments, which will be good for the center, right? For the restaurants.
Yeah.
Where people sleep, well, okay, that's going
to
be.
They can sleep outside the Airbnbs, or that means all those places.
They want them here.
Well, that's another topic that we never readdressed is the Airbnbs and the illegal Airbnbs in Winthrop.
Yeah, because there's really no answer. They're supposed to be addressing it with a policy, but we have enforcement issues. I think they might have voted on something, but what does it matter? They have no one to enforce it. Is Bill going to start writing citations again?
He can't. Bill Schmidt is not allowed.
Oh, he can. Ask him. Just ask him.
Just ask him. He'll tell you. That's right. Smartest guy in the room, Bill the Shill Schmidt.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Let me see. Somebody just said they still watch Saturday night at midnight. Watch it. I don't know if they made Night Stalker or Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard or Fantasy Island. Which one? Which one are you watching?
All right, buddy. We hit an hour.
We did.
Yeah. We each got our little time on a soapbox.
Yeah, you were better than me, though.
It was. I think my topic was better. That's all. Night Stalker. They watch Night Stalker. I love it. I never get sick of it. The movies were good too. The movies were really good that led up to the show.
So we have to change a little bit our format on updating you on upcoming meetings, because if we're on Tuesday nights, like right now, the finance committee met at 7 and the town council met at 7. So, whoops, you would have missed it. So what I'm going to do is tell you about next week or the next town council meeting, because those are the ones you want to go to. And the next town council, this was a special one for them to vote on the budget, by the way. So I'm not sure much else got done. The next town council meeting will be Tuesday, the 27th at 7:00 at the Harvey Room. I do not think an agenda has been posted yet. No, it has not. They've got some time. Although it says Tuesday, July 4th. No, wrong. That's Tuesday, July 4th. I don't think that's going to be right.
They're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything. So someone's got to update the calendar. Stand by. It'll probably be the 11th. Or just they'll skip that one and go right to the 18th. But we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, post it on the group page also.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll put it out there.
Yeah, on Mondays, and then they'll kind of.
I hope we made the case again tonight that all politics is local. It all starts at the local level. It starts and stops here. Like I said, our community is being run by the 4 most powerful boards in the community, and they're the smallest number of people in our town. They're just willing to run, period.
That's the problem, right? So if no one's going to run, then they really, the problem. If you know what the problem is, who wants to solve it? Who wants to solve it? The answer's right in front of you. It's just who's going to write it down on paper.
If you live in Precinct 6, that's up the Highlands, we could use you to pull your papers. I'm sorry, Precinct 4. Forgive me, Precinct 4. We could use you to run. We need people running. We need people for school committee. We need good people that care about the kids and not the school, not the teachers unions. They care about the kids, actually. Yeah. The kids getting some programs back. The kids getting languages that they're supposed to be taking and all this enrichment. Well, we need to bring it back to our schools. So we need some good people running for school committee too. Yeah. So thanks for watching. Share it and keep watching. We need you.
Yeah, so like I always say, thank you for watching. You're the engine that runs this machine. If you liked it, share it. Tell a friend. We've been going. We're on for over 2 years now, so I think pretty much most people know about it. If you like the show, just share it. If you didn't like it, thanks for listening this long. Thanks for watching this long. Must have been bored, but you watched.
Thank you.
And we'll try to get on Monday night because I'm going up to the motherland on Tuesday. Again.
Sounds good.
So people are like, you don't even live in Winthrop. I've been to Winthrop in the last 4 months 3 times.
More than he wants to.
Well, I just don't like the traffic anymore.
No, it's
The congestion is I still can't get used to that.
it's worse than it's ever been.
But it's still what's the Chinese restaurant on Woodside?
Hong Kong Dragon.
I love it. They have great China. I had some half-ass South Florida Chinese food tonight. I know. Listen, I will bend the knee to that one. I can never say South Florida. We have great Italian food down here. We got great delicatessens down here. But the Chinese food is really lacking down here. Yeah, I agree. Hong Kong Dragon, I get the boneless spare rib, pork fried rice, chicken fingers, and lobster sauce. Yeah. Extra, what's the stuff you dip your
Duck sauce.
Extra duck sauce. They don't even have good duck sauce down here. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a next
It's
topic.
basically applesauce with something in it. It's really what it is, right?
They're not doing
watered down applesauce, duck sauce.
Yeah.
Well, one more comment before we go. Our local towns are fighting the state on school mandates. Made the news because it's against Newsom. Oh, that's in California, I guess.
Not a California.
Right. Yeah. Well, good luck out there. He's going to run for president too. But
yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. All right, everybody. We'll try to see you Monday night. If we don't, we'll see you in a couple Tuesdays.